Hello everyone, this is Maricar from Paper Goodness. Today's video continues the series about the new Zeitgeber Planner. Today I will show you how a project-based approach helps me plan with purpose and how I use specific pages in the Zeitgeber Planner. I'll walk you through the method I use to make an overall plan and then move from that big picture into my monthly and weekly planning. So let's start. First, all my project planning starts with a project master plan, which is a free download. You just subscribe to my blog at papergoodness.com. Now the project master plan serves as my overall list of projects and tasks. I used to simply keep a list of things I want to do, but the project master plan is more than just a list. It also helps me see at a glance how complex or how much time a particular project will take. And that in turn helps me figure out when to do it or whether I need to break it down into smaller chunks. Let me show you how that works. At the top of the page is a blank space. I divide projects according to whether they're for home or work, or if I have a really big project and I dedicate a full page for that. So I will write that category or project on that space. So just as an example, I've already filled out one page here. Say I'm writing content for a client's website. That website could be, say, 10 to 15 pages long. So at the top, I've written here, client website content. That's a project that will take me more than a few hours, especially if I'm writing it completely from scratch. And there are several tasks within that. Those tasks go into the list over here. For example, the first one is to read and research current materials from the client. Next is a phone call with the client, and probably phone call with a web designer as well. Let's say now I know what pages they want. I have a home page, an about page, and there could be like sub pages on the brand, history, locations, values, vision, testimonials, and so on. Now I wrote them down here just to show you the various ways that this page could be used. You could obviously just write those sub pages here, or subtasks, some projects here, and do this. But sometimes I do this as well. Now here is where the project master plan really does its job. See these squares here? These are for the allotted hours for each part of the project. For each step, I've estimated the number of hours it will take me to finish that step. On the home page, I forgot to write that. That's 2 hours, so I just block that out. And for the about page, since it has several parts, I've estimated the hours for those parts first. First the brand, 1 hour, 2 blocks for history, which means 2 hours. Locations, maybe 30 minutes right there. It's half a block, and so on. And then I total those up. It goes to 9.5 hours. And I've indicated that for the about page. And see how that works. Next, I've totaled everything up, everything down here. It's coming up to 46 hours for the entire project. So I then block 46 squares over here. So now I have an overview of the whole project. At one glance, I can see how long everything will take, the total, and how long each piece will take me. And I use that information to plot my work for this project over the month and weeks. So now let's go to the monthly pages. We do need the project plotter here. So we're at November, for example. So when I plan how I'm going to tackle the project for the month, I have the project master plan in front of me. I will usually take it out of the binder just to make it easier. So when you plot out projects using this approach, you kind of need to have an idea of how many hours you can dedicate to those projects every week. So when you look at the project plotter, for example, you have these divisions. I use these to designate hours. There are 20 spaces here with an additional space at the bottom. For example, I will use I guess 1 space for 1 hour, just because it will be easier for you to see. It's up to you though whether you'll use 1 space for 1 hour or 1 space here equals 2 hours. So remember that at this level you don't really need to plan in detail. This is an overview of your month. Okay, so let's go through the projects. Of course, for this project, first tasks really are to read and research, and there are 8 hours allotted to that based on our project master plan. So I will tend to break those hours into chunks, with the first 6 hours for the first week, and then leaving the last couple hours for the rest, the second week. So I will write that down. 6 hours for research and reading. So research and read, and I will block those hours out for that week. Might be easier to flip it out like that. And then the flow chart for 2 hours. And that's a total of 12 hours for the first week. So let's assume I have other work to do that week. So that will be it for this client, and we go into the second week. So I have filled up the rest of it, and you can see that this is the plan for this project for this month. Now we go into the weekly planning. I usually do my weekly planning before the week starts so that I get a heads up on what's coming. So let's do November 3 to 9, for example. I take that page and I flip it out and fold it on itself so that I have the monthly project plotter on the left and the weekly on the right. And the project master plan, sometimes I leave it out, or I open it up for reference, but you don't really need it at this point because you have this information. Okay, weekly. When I do my weekly planning, I do the schedule first. So meetings, driving the kids around, school activities, all of that go into the weekly schedule. So for example, I have a meeting with a teacher. Let's just pick a day. Meeting, driving the kids, and so on. So it's Monday to Friday. So I always like indicate travel time, because I won't be able to do anything during those times anyway, so I block them out. So once I have my appointment set, I look at the monthly project plotter and find the corresponding week. So we're on November 3 to 9, and that's the column over there. So I can see I need to do 12 hours of work for this project for this week. And now the weekly project plotter has a total of 40 spaces. It's a flexible setup, so if you want to use 2 spaces per hour for a total of 20 hours for the week, you can do that. To plot my week, I simply transfer the information from the project or the monthly project plotter into the weekly. So 6 hours for reading and research this week. The same way, I just block those out. For this example, I'm using 2 spaces for 1 hour. So research and reading. 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is, let's say, if I'm working with several clients, I usually indicate client 1, client 2, or the name of the client, 4, 5, 6, like that. So I have 12 hours for this project for this week. That's really quite easy to do. So now as I envision my week, I compare the schedule here and the project plotter here. I can see when during the week can I do these tasks. I plot them out on the schedule, usually just a quick box to let me know that that's allotted for tasks that are on the project plotter. Let's say I can do, say, 8:30 to 12, and you know, the whole, let's leave time for lunch, of course, so that those are the blocks of time that I can do work, and so on. Now you can use a different color, obviously, to indicate this, but just to be quick, I'm just using one pen. Now when I plan my day, every day, I refer to this page. I put my appointments in, schedule the tasks, see what I have to do, and schedule that in. As I complete the tasks, I shade the corresponding block in the weekly plotter and often in the monthly plotter as well. So as I complete that, let's say Monday is done. I did 3.5 hours researching and reading, so I will shade that in, and sometimes I do that for here as well, although I don't usually do the monthly until after, say, the week is done. And I regularly go back to the project master plan as well, review how much I've done and how much I need to do, and I shade those boxes in according to how much time I've spent on each task. So for example, and I will also go into the total and shade that in as well. So that lets me see how much I've done and how much I still need to do. And that kind of helps, you know, with motivation, because you know you're progressing. So when I complete a task, I check that off, wherever that may be. So that is how I do my project planning. Now I look at this, as I mentioned, as planning with a purpose. That purpose is to have a set of goals reflected by the projects and break down those goals into concrete, actionable chunks or chunks of time, monthly and weekly. So I hope this system will help you as well. The Project Master Plan is available for free as a downloadable PDF file. Go to papergoodness.com and subscribe so that you can get that. And the monthly and weekly project plotters are currently included in the Zeitgeber Planners for November and December 2014. In addition to the project plotters, the monthly calendars and the daily pages are included with that set as well. And I'm planning to make the project plotters, the monthly and the weekly ones, available as a separate set without the daily pages. That's going to be for 2015. So you can use the project plotters to complement whatever daily pages you're using, or as a standalone planning tool for managing your projects. The weekly pages do have the schedule on them, so some of you may not even need the daily pages. Again, that set will be for 2015. So if you don't want to miss that announcement, please subscribe to the blog and you can get this free, and as I post other freebies, you'll get those as well.